Flash is my favorite DC character. He has been since I watched the animated Justice League show when I was a kid, and recently I got into reading his comic books, and I want to help you guys get into them too. So with the release of the Flash film, I thought I'm going to give you guys my recommendations for the best places to start reading the Flash. Also, if you're new to reading comic books, remember, you're not going to know everything, and that's okay. All of these books are great jumping on points and get you up to speed on the character and all of their main sidekicks. So that's why I'm not recommending any books from the 40s, because you don't need them. Just read these books and whichever one sounds the most interesting to you. The first run I'm going to recommend is the Flash series by Jeff Johns. This is my favorite run on the character ever, and it was the first one that I ever read. And if you want the crash course on who the Flash is and his best stories and his best villains, this is the definitive run. The series runs for 5 books, and it shows Wally West, who is the third Flash, as he takes on the mantle of being the Flash and trying to be not only a hero for the Twin Cities he lives at, but a hero that actually helps his villains. He genuinely cares about his rogues gallery unlike other heroes, and he wants to help them, and the run explores that effortlessly, with small adventures eventually snowballing, as Wally's decisions end up impacting some rogues to help him down the road and other friends of his eventually turning on him. This run also has every classic rogue in Flash's history, and all of them are unique and great. You got villains like Zoom, Gorilla Grodd, Mirror Master, Captain Cold, Trickster. You might not know them now, but by the end of it you will love them.
It looks stupid now, but you have to wait.
And the way all of their storylines converge here is so fun and rewards you for paying attention from the very first issue. Is this run perfect? No, but at its center it has my favorite interpretation of Wally West as this incredibly nice and funny guy who genuinely wants to save people and help the people of the Midwest. I absolutely adore this run. This made Wally West one of my favorite superheroes, and if you want to read what I think is the best Flash comic of all time, I would say start here. Now you might be saying, who is Wally? I want to read about Barry Allen, the main Flash, and that's fine. Barry is great as well, but if you just saw the movie and want something similar with the story, why not go with one of the most definitive Flash comics ever and what story the movie is based on, which is Flashpoint. This is the story of Barry Allen stopping his mother from dying and the crazy after effects of what happens. It's a really fun book and leads you into more Barry Allen comics if you're interested. Flashpoint rebooted the entire DC universe, so if you want a fresh Barry Allen story with no baggage attached, just go read the New 52 run. It's a perfect place to start, especially if you've read Flashpoint. Now, I haven't read the full New 52 run, but out of the recent Barry Allen comics I've read, it is the one that I've liked the most. But if you want my personal favorite Barry Allen story, that is going to be Flash Rebirth. This is also written by Jeff Johns. Don't worry, at the end of the video I'll recommend another writer, but Flash Rebirth is easily my favorite Barry Allen story. Flash Rebirth tells the story of Barry coming back to be the Flash, only for Reverse Flash to return and try to ruin his life one last time. It's an excellent story that puts Barry through a lot, and a ton of the stuff that you love in the Flash TV show and the movies all comes from it. The good stuff, not the bad stuff, like the lightsaber lightning, that's not in it, trust me. And it's just a great place to start reading the Flash, especially if you're new to Barry Allen. And if you want to read more of this run, you can read right after the Dastardly Dash of the Rogues, which follows up Flash Rebirth, and then after that you can read the Road to Flashpoint, which leads to Flashpoint. See, it goes full circle. But Flash Rebirth is excellent and easily my favorite Barry Allen story, and I can't recommend it enough. Now, the last recommendation is if you want a run that is incredibly long, that is critically acclaimed, and written by someone that is other than Jeff Johns. And if you want that, you should read The Flash by Mark Waid. This is a long run, and it's all about Wally West, from him getting his powers all the way to becoming the full Flash in a Jeff Johns run. Now, unlike all of the Jeff Johns books, I have not read this run entirely fully. I've read the first 2 volumes, but I've read enough to be able to recommend it. But just know this isn't my favorite Flash story because of the art. It is just older, and it's just not as good as a lot of the other books on this list, and it just makes it more hard for me to get into the full story and images. Also, the story starts out pretty slow, and the writing early on is kind of weak. The first volume isn't great, and I realized that when I read the line, "My sweetheart might be a little wacky." That said, volume 2 is absolutely great and is one of the most iconic stories in the Flash's history, and if you are an origin buff and really want to know where Wally West comes from and know his origin and read arguably some of the best, most definitive Flash comics, this run is it. And that is my guide to getting into the Flash. Let me know what your favorite comics for him are, and what are some other comics that I should read as well that maybe aren't Flash related. I have a video coming soon on the Flash and all the other DCEU films, so look out for that, and when that comes out, I'll see you then.